Hi, I'm Peter Jones, Chartered Surveyor, author and property investor.
A question I'm almost always asked by somebody who's just about to begin in property is, should I go to an auction to buy my first property? And I guess that's a natural question. If we've all watched Homes Under the Hammer, and it sells this idealised view of buying properties which you then go and refurb and all this kind of stuff. It all seems maybe glamorous. I don't know if it's glamorous doing a refurb, but perhaps that's the motivation for the question. But my answer is always an emphatic, and this might surprise you, is an emphatic no. Do not start at auction. Now, I have to say that slightly carefully, because it could be that you find the best deal you're ever going to find at an auction and you don't buy it because I've just said that. So you've obviously got to come to your own view on this. But why would I be leaning towards not buying at auction? Well, because buying at auction is a very specialist thing, and I think what a lot of beginners don't realise is that there's costs to incur before you even get to the auction room. If you're going to seriously consider buying a property at auction, first of all, you need to know what you're buying. There's reasons why properties go into auctions and they don't sell through estate agents. Now, sometimes the property is absolutely fine, but it could be that there's some kind of a title defect. That means that there's some kind of legal problem with the property. Or it could be that there's some kind of structural issue with the property. And it may be that you don't know. If you don't know, you could end up buying something which is really, really not going to help you at all, and which could lose you a lot of money. But in order to check the property out, in order to be clear as to what it is you're actually buying, you need to get experts involved. So, for example, first and foremost, you're going to need a survey. I've got to say that, I'm a surveyor. And it would be the logical, reasonable thing to do if you're buying a property to get a surveyor in. If you're going to have the title checked out, which you should, and by the way, that most auction companies will make the legal pack available online nowadays, so you'll be able to download that. But you should probably get a solicitor to check through that, because they'll know what they're looking for. They'll know all the subtleties of the wording in the title, in the deeds, in the covenants, in the planning, whatever it happens to be that needs to be checked out. If you need finance and you're not buying for cash, then you'll have to have the finance arranged before you go to the auction. So that means talking to a broker and probably paying a broker's fee, getting a valuation, talking to a bank. All of this stuff adds up and it costs money. And you could easily spend £1,000 or £2,000 before you, depending upon what the property is and how much it's worth and all that kind of stuff, before you get to the auction. I've had the experience of going to auction and not even been able to bid, because so many people have been interested in the property I was looking at that I haven't even had a chance to bid. It's gone past the maximum price which I would have paid before I've even had a chance to put my hand up and bid. So I could have spent £2,000 and not even bid. That is the danger of auction. So if you're a beginner, I would say no, not the place to buy, but there is a proviso to that, and perhaps we'll look at that in a future video.
Well, I hope you found that informative and inspirational. And if you want help in property, please do come over to my website, www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk. Loads of great resources there, including my blog. There's loads of free videos, loads of great articles. There's free reports to download, including Learning with Peter, where you'll be able to access resources like my video courses, like my ebooks, including my home study course, the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, which I've literally sold thousands of copies of, which takes you through how I started in property, literally with none of my own money, but how I was able to build a portfolio of £2 million worth of property in just 4 years. I'll show you everything that I did right so that you can do the same, and I'll show you everything that I did wrong. I'll tell you about all of my mistakes so that you can avoid them, so that you can progress in property far more quickly than me. Until next time, here's to successful property investing.